Hi, good morning. It's Ross McInnes from Australian Investment Research Services. Thanks for joining us and hope you're having a good morning. It's just coming up to 10 o'clock Sydney time on Wednesday, June 9th. The themes are continuing with markets attempting to consolidate the capitulation type selling we saw back on May 21st and again May 25th when the S&P 500 tested down to 6-month lows at 1,040. Noting that overnight the US stock market did fall away to those sort of levels again, but closed up at 1,060 on the S&P 500. The tech stocks remained under pressure for about the third session, on the view that they've got big exposures to Europe and obviously to euro-dollar income streams. So on the fall of the euro, they've been weighing down the tech stocks, but the overall S&P 500 was up 1.1%. Still needs to get above 1,080. Before the payrolls on Friday, it was up at 1,100, but fell away on those weaker private payrolls. So overall story was global markets stabilised, trying to consolidate, but remain under a lot of pressure. We've seen Spanish strikes last night, so that fragility is still there, and that's continues to be offset by the fact the emerging economies are doing very well. The latest data on that was from Brazilian GDP overnight, which came out at 9%, the best level since 1996. So we've got this overall factors of emerging economies doing well, northern hemisphere economies, and particularly Europe and Japan, having to completely restructure their economies to remain stable and sustainable. And on this point, the new Japanese Prime Minister Kan has appointed a new cabinet. And the focus very much is focused on the stabilisation of the fiscal policy, given that government debt to GDP is still over 200% of GDP. So a lot of work still to be done. On the day, we've got this ASX 200 testing around that 4,400 area. Markets, $80 and the SPY holding key levels yesterday, 80.50 on the Australian dollar and 4,300 again on the ASX 200. So as we go forward, markets consolidated, but now we've got a key test over the next 3 days from a run of economic data and also policy feedback from a lot of major central banks presenting their latest view on the economy. This starts today with Governor Stevens, who'll be talking at 1 p.m. Sydney time. And also this morning we get housing finance and consumer confidence data in Australia. The other thing to focus on will be Bernanke's speech tonight, testimony to the US House Senate Committee on Economics. Yesterday he suggested that he believed the US economy wasn't going to double dip and that Europe would come out of it. So we need that sort of theme to get the Australian dollar to get above current levels of 82.50, and so we'll see how that goes through the day. So we'll get back to you this afternoon. Thanks a lot.